I didn't hear back for a while, and then I wrote him an email. I said, look, Les, we'll make this so easy for you. We'll come to Sydney. You just have to rock up to the studio for an hour, read off some names, and we'll give you some money for it, right? I think we paid him a decent amount. And he was like, okay. Anyway, he came down, walked down the steps, and I got, a little bit of the butterflies. It was, honestly, I grew up watching this guy. He was a big part of my childhood. And he walked down the steps and I go, Jesus, where's Murray? Could have been Mick Jagger. I probably would have had less of an effect. You know what I mean? And he came down. We spoke for a bit. We explained what we were planning on doing, and we got on really well. We clicked, and then he just started reading the names with that voice, and yeah, the rest is history.
Welcome back to The Last Days of Rome. If you've noticed, I'm wearing the same t-shirt that I was wearing in the past two intros. Why don't you try being a little less judgmental? What have you got going on? Oh, look at me at the computer watching YouTube with my different clothes from yesterday. Get over yourself, okay? In today's episode, I speak with the lead singer of Vaudeville Smash, Marc Lucchesi. With Marc, we discuss the complexities of navigating family dynamics in a band, his experiences playing abroad, the story behind their hit song Zinedine Zidane, and his love for the beautiful Tuscan city of Lucca. Enjoy the chat. Marc, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Let's start with Zinedine Zidane. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah,
okay.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Is it something that you're sick of?
No, not at all. Not at all. I appreciate the fact that it's our biggest success and it continues to be, and we will never be one of those bands that doesn't play the biggest hit.
Okay.
And appreciate it. Yeah, no, absolutely. So let's talk about it.
Okay, good.
Very happy to.
So does any part of you resent the fact though that that's just gone crazy viral?
No, I think about it sometimes because it's a blessing and a curse, and a lot of it has to do with this magical thing called the algorithm, right? So, like without doubt, that is our most popular song, but by magnitude of many. And the problem with it is that the people that love that song couldn't give a crap about the rest of our stuff. Mostly. We have had some crossover, which is great, but mostly they don't. It lives in this other little world, this little tangent away from the rest of our catalog. And it's brilliant. We get plenty of streams. We even make some pretty good money out of it, which is lovely. However, something I learned recently is that if you upload something new to YouTube or Spotify or whatever, and your existing followers listen to it and quickly turn away from it, or don't listen to it because it's not a song about football, then the algorithm says, we're not sharing this sort of thing. So in that sense, I am upset that took off and not one of our other ones, but no, because I love the song. I love the fact that we got to do it with Les Murray not too long before he passed. I love the fact that we get hundreds of messages every year saying how this was the song of their childhood. I listen to this every before every soccer match. Right. Blah 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 blah. It's awesome. Like if you want to have a bit of fun, just go to our YouTube comments and see the arguments that people get into.
It's crazy. I was reading some of them. Yeah,
it's nuts. And also, we did this thing a little while ago. We read out mean YouTube comments, and it's why don't you write more songs like Zidane? This song sucks. Write another song like Zidane. Blah, 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 blah. But it's so funny, and we get a big kick out of reading this.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's so interesting about the algorithm though. So it's almost like you're held hostage to the audience of that song. Yes,
we should. If we were smart people, we would write more soccer songs. There's no that's it. But we just and people have said that, write more songs, and we're like, look, we've done this. The thing with us is that we do what we want, what comes into our little brains, without thinking that much about how it will help guide our career.
Which is great. I think that's really cool
Yeah,
and
I think
refreshing.
it is. It's refreshing, and a lot of people appreciate it. We've got a really great cult following here in Australia, and around the world as well, and they appreciate that very thing.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I can imagine. I mean, even just going on something like TikTok, which I have to do as part of my job. I hate that app.
Yeah,
That's a whole other podcast, though.
Yeah.
But you see people who get a little bit of fame or, an uptick in views, let's just say, and then now they're just trying to repeat the same thing because the algorithm wants them to do that. It wants them to just sort of play those hits.
Yeah.
And it just ends up with like kind of crappy, repetitive stuff in all, not just music, but in everything.
Exactly. So yeah, we've kept pretty true to ourselves musically, and yeah, I'm happy about that. And if we've got a song about our nonna, we've got a song about Zidane, we've got a song about a drunken cowgirl, lots of different things.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
We'll come on to the nonna song later on.
Yeah.
But let's just stick with that for a moment.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about how you got Les Murray involved?
Yeah. So when we first came up with the idea, it was a very organic way of doing it. So we were practicing, and as happens sometimes, our rhythm section just started playing this groove, and it was this Euro sounding song. And we're going, man, this is sick. And then my brother, the drummer, Dan, started going, da-ga-dun-da-da, so this is excellent. And then from that, Zinedine Zidane came, and we're going, man, this is sometimes you just know when something's going to work. And we said, well, this is going to work, but how's it going to work? What do we do with this song? The World Cup was, 3 years away or something. We said, look, we'll just shelve it, and maybe when the World Cup comes along, we'll do it, right? And when it drew closer, we said, remember that song about Zidane? Well, what should we do? And my other brother, Luca, said, well, why don't we just, a little bit like We Didn't Start the Fire, we just list Billy Joel's winner. We just list soccer players' names, different from, and he was saying, let's just do the classic ones, right? And then Zidane. And I said, no, let's try and keep it a bit contemporary, and we'll do a mixture of the classic players and the new players.
And you added in some Socceroos, by the way.
Of course.
Cool.
You will find that being of Italian descent and being Australian, it is very Italia heavy. So we made sure there were plenty of them in there. And then we thought, wouldn't it be great if we could get a really famous commentator to actually say the names, and then when the chorus hits, we'll sing the chorus. We're thinking, who could we get? Oh, Martin Tyler, that'd be a good one. And we thought, Martin Tyler, it might be hard to get, but I reckon we could at least be introduced to Les Murray. And it just so happened that our booker at the time was friends with a friend, and they made the introduction. And when we sent Les the original demo, he was like, because a lot of people don't have the imagination needed to see what something can become, right? And also the demo was probably crap. And so he was like, look.
He's not a musician either.
And he's not a musician. He goes, I don't know. And anyway, I didn't hear back for a while. And then I wrote him an email. I said, look, Les, we'll make this so easy for you. We'll come to Sydney. You just have to rock up to the studio for an hour, read off some names, and we'll give you some money for it, right? I think we paid him a decent amount. And he was like, okay. Anyway, he came down, walked down the steps, and I got, a little bit of the butterflies. It was, honestly, I grew up watching this guy.
Did you used to watch the World Game?
Yeah, and also Serie A on a Sunday with I used to watch it with my dad and my brothers, and he was a big part of that. And so he was a big part of my childhood. And he walked down the steps, and I go, Jesus, Les Murray. Could have been Mick Jagger. I probably would have had less of an effect. You know what I mean? And he came down. We spoke for a bit. We explained what we were planning on doing, and we got on really well. We clicked. And then he just started reading the names with that voice, and the rest is history. When he finally heard the almost finished version, he was like, guys, I know a guy at Sony. Let me get there. And he was very, very excited.
Really?
After that.
So okay.
When he heard it, when he heard what it was going to be, then he got excited.
Right.
And it was just one of those songs that I know, it just had once we let it out there, it just had a mind of its own. And,
Yeah. So you mentioned that you had a feeling that it could do quite well, but I mean, no one could have imagined.
No.
None of you could have imagined.
No, not at all. Not
It
at all.
would go that viral.
That right. Yep.
How soon after releasing it did it just take off, and what was your sort of reaction to that?
Straight away. It took off straight away. Like within a day or two, it had already spread. You know, I think we ended up hitting 1 million YouTube views after maybe 3 weeks or something.
Right.
And you know, this was 10 years ago as well, where it was harder to reach that million mark than it is now. And yeah, we were pretty surprised and very excited by it. Yeah.
Did Les say anything about it? Was he surprised by how far it went? Or did you
Yeah, he was excited. He was calling me every day.
Right.
Yeah. He loved it. And he was in Brazil at the time because that's where the World Cup was when we released it. And my brother Luca was there, and they caught up for some drinks and some promo, and it was good. It was just one of those crazy moments, where everything went right, and it just went.
I discovered that song probably later than most, but I used to drive past that service station.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even a service station. It's just like
it's like
a milk bar, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it
but
is.
it's not. Is it Sydney Road or Brunswick?
Sydney
Road, right?
Yeah.
And every time I drive past it, I'm like, man, someone should film something.
Yeah.
I'm glad you saw the potential in that. That place is so cool.
Yeah.
It belongs in a movie, right?
It's 100%.
Yeah.
And with that, and we live literally 30 seconds from there.
Okay.
So it's our local, and with the film clip, again with with most of our stuff, we start off with these grand ideas, and then we soon realize that we have a budget, and and everything's do it yourself. So originally, because the thing is, the success of the song was also largely due to the film clip. I believe it was. I think it's just it was a really simple, great idea executed really well.
Yeah.
Our the director, Sarah Jane Woolahan, she did an awesome job, like taking what was in our brain and putting it on screen. But the original idea was we wanted. Have you seen Point Break? You know, the original Point Break with Patrick Swayze.
I haven't, no.
Well, in it they rob banks with masks of the presidents of the United States,
right.
Reagan, all these old ones and stuff. We thought, wouldn't it be funny if these people wearing these Zidane masks robbed a bank, but didn't rob a bank. They just went in there and started kicking the ball around,
right.
kind of as a nod to this film. And we thought, well, like it's going to be pretty hard convincing a bank to let us do that. How about a convenience store? And it just so happened that we had this one next door, essentially. And
just the coolest looking one?
The coolest looking one in Melbourne, right? Without a doubt.
It could be in a Tarantino film.
100%, 100%. And the lady that runs it, we talked her into it. Said, look, we'll do it when you're least busy. They're open 24 hours, so we'll do it overnight. We'll give you, I don't know, maybe $500 to let us do it. We'll make sure everything is cleaned up. If a customer comes in, they can come in. We'll stop. And so it was a long shoot because there's a lot of starting and stopping, but we got it done, and we got it done. I think the finished product is awesome.
It's an awesome film clip.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah. So what time did you start? Was this at like 3 a.m.?
No, we would have started, I reckon we started at around 10.
Okay.
And then just went overnight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one of those ones.
So I mentioned that you used some Socceroos names. How did you decide? So I feel like Kuehl and Cahill, obvious choices, right? But then you've got Wilshire.
Yep.
The Vidmar brothers.
So that's on the extended one. Yeah.
And then there was one or two others. Oh, Mark Bosnich. And I'm missing one, aren't I? Yeah, how come no Viduka? Well, how'd you pick that?
And it's funny you should say this. So Bosnich we chose, so with the names, they were a combination of what they could do for us, what they meant to the game, and whether they were a good rhyme. So we put Alexi Lalas and Galas together, right? But Alexi Lalas we also threw in because he had a podcast or something, or he was a presenter on American.
Right.
Anyway, so Bosnich we threw him because at that time he was in the media. Oh, also he's one of the great Australian players. Bit of a bad boy, but he was host of some show at the time, so we thought, he's definitely going to promote it. He never did, by the way.
bastard.
And no, yeah, and my brother met him because he's a cousin of a really good friend of ours. And anyway, my brother, when he saw him once, he said, "Man, we put you in and you said nothing." He was very apologetic.
Oh, but he knew it, obviously.
He knew it, of course. Yeah. And so yeah, no Viduka. So it was pretty much a toss-up between him and Viduka.
Right.
But again,
It's hard to rhyme Viduka.
it's hard to rhyme Viduka. Funny story though, we've just recently built a house, right? Well, two houses on. So let me step back a little bit. So we've got a very close family. So my brothers, Dan and Luca, are also in the band.
Really?
When we bought a house together, I think in 2008, lived there all through Vaudeville Smash up until just a few years ago. And so worked together, lived together. Then we decided to knock that house down and build two houses, right? Now, I'm in the back one with my family, and Luca lives in the front one. The person that designed the house is Marc Viduka's sister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Maria. She's brilliant drafts person as well. If anyone needs to have
Yes, plug
design.
away.
Yeah,
Plug away.
and her husband is a guy called Ivan, and he ended up building the house. So he was the builder, she's the drafts person. And again, if you ever need a house built, he's the man.
Yeah. Anyone else, by the way?
yeah.
Anyone else in this process you wanna plug?
That's about it for now. But let me think about it. I'm sure someone else will crop up.
Any contractors?
Yeah. But now I feel bad that we didn't put Viduka in, because Ivan even said to us, he goes, "Why the hell didn't you put Viduka?"
So you've
He's
made a
10
lot of
times the
enemies.
player. Yeah, we made enemies.
Yeah.
We made enemies. So, so anyway, that was the reason for that. But often, honestly, it really came down to the rhyme. There were certain players that were always going to make it. At the time, Ibrahimovic was massive. Ronaldo and Messi were always going to make it.
Yeah.
So we kind of just pieced it together. It was a real jigsaw because we had like so many players, and we kind of just and that was it. And the arguments that have cropped up because of this on the YouTube video.
It's all about who you should have put instead.
Yeah, exactly. And even sometimes Zidane is not the best. I don't know, Hadji was better or whatever. It's all this.
Yeah, so why Zidane though? Why not a song about Pele or Maradona?
Because da 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 da
right, okay.
And also, to be fair, Zidane was probably my favorite player. I was during that '98 World Cup where he just basically won it. That was just it was a thing of beauty, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So he should definitely be considered up there, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave that for now.
Okay.
Because I feel like you've indulged me enough.
Yeah, no, good.
I
All right.
appreciate
That's
that. You mentioned being in a band with two brothers, and I
Yes.
wanted to ask you about this because family dynamics are complicated enough when
Yeah.
you're not in a band together, right? So how do you navigate that? You live together, you work together, you pursue your dreams together. I mean, that's got to be tough in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah. You just got to you have very, very short memories. I think that's the thing,
Right.
because we have. I mean, even to this day we have blow-ups. At our gig at the Nightcat last 2 Saturdays ago, I had a massive argument with my brother Dan.
On stage.
No, we have had them on
right,
stage,
okay.
but we try and hide. Like, they're very short and very
Right.
high impact and very short. And we've never punched each other or anything.
Okay.
But it's all. But they've
That's
forgotten.
good,
Yeah. But they've forgotten. I mean, we have punched each other, but not at a show. We've gotten into massive fights, but it's forgotten. 5 minutes later, whatever.
Right.
It happens. And so, but just before going on, I had a massive blowout with my brother over, I can't even remember what. And it stems back from, childhood.
Yeah, for sure.
5 and 6. And
You've got like a shorter fuse.
Yeah. He had a Lego piece that I wanted, and I had, and anyway.
Right.
So yeah. So it has been. It's been tough, but at the same time, I think part of the reason the band has stayed together for so long is because all three of us have wanted this to happen, and love what it is we do.
I guess it's all about, forgiveness as well, like you said, or you put it in a way of like, forgetting.
Yeah.
But also that means
Forgiveness as
forgiving,
well.
right?
Of course. Yeah.
Is it awkward for the other two guys in the band?
I think they are quite amused by it. Yeah, in general. Maybe sometimes, and maybe in the early days. And so James and Ash, how are you? But now I think they kind of enjoy the blowouts.
Have they? Do you feel been pulled into the dynamic of you brothers?
I think so.
Right.
I think so.
So it's just 5 of you guys.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, I would never speak to them the way I do to my brother, because I don't think that they'd stay around for that long. But I definitely treat them differently than a stranger. They are like family pretty much, and we've been together for. We're very, very lucky. We've had the same players for a very long time, and that's part of the battle with a band is trying to keep
everyone together.
Keep everyone together, especially if it's if you're Coldplay and you can pay your session musos, $5,000 a show or however much the going rate is, sure. But when you're an independent band doing it yourself, and you need the other players to love being part of the group,
right?
So and to love creating with us, and so I feel that they do.
Why does it often go wrong? I mean, is it because people have different ideas of where things ought to go, or is it egos, too much time together? What is it?
I think people in bands take what it is they're doing way too seriously. I think if you were to step back and just realize, if no one made another piece of music from now, there would be more than enough music to go around until the end of time, right? But people in the band, they think that they're doing the most important thing on earth, and I appreciate the fact that a lot of people have gotten a lot out of what it is that we do. But at the end of the day, if we were to suddenly cease to exist tomorrow, people would get over it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think that's why it is people. Because I mean, the blowout with my brother shouldn't have happened, but it did. And anyway, that's why. But that's why I think bands don't stay together that long. It's because they think that what they're doing is the most important thing on earth, and when something doesn't quite go the way they want it to go, it's the biggest thing.
Right.
I think.
So having a bit of perspective can
having perspective, I think so. I think so. I think it can help.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. What is yacht rock? I saw this on your website.
Yeah.
Is it just literally the music that you would hear, what you imagine?
Kind of. I think it was a term coined in the early days of the internet or of YouTube, to describe a particular type of music that was around in the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Guys,
which kind of fits your vibe.
Which fits our vibe, and I'm a massive fan of that type of music. But again, it's kind of a grey area. Sometimes people will say that is yacht rock. Other times, no. But you cannot argue that Hall & Oates are not yacht rock, or the later Doobie Brothers, like What a Fool Believes, etc. Michael McDonald in general.
But I feel like a lot of the people that listen to them can't afford yachts. So I still
I know
why it's yacht rock.
Because they dream about it.
Right.
Dream, yeah.
Okay.
But it is great music to be that. It's music that should be played on a. It's probably largely got to do with a guy called Christopher Cross that wrote a song called Sailing, and that's just your classic yacht rock tune right there. But yeah, again, it can. Some people would say that some of George Benson's stuff is yacht rock. Yeah, sure. But anyway, you probably have as many arguments as our Zidane.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Film clip. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. But that's what yacht rock is. And so again, we were speaking about it earlier. I don't actually know what to call us. We call ourselves funk, disco, yacht rock, soul. All those genres are part of what we do. But I don't actually know. Zidane, I don't know what you'd call. What's that? Like Euro dance.
I really don't have a very good music vocabulary, so
but that's probably good. I mean, I don't actually know what it is that we are. It's hard to pigeonhole because we have so many influences, and as I was saying earlier, we just do what we want. We've never really thought about it. Let's make an album with all songs that sort of sound the same. We just like I don't know. That
doesn't appeal to you.
Doesn't appeal to us. We like and that may have been detrimental. But I think we've also got fans that really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sure. And like I said, I find it very refreshing and cool.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about the lyrics to one of your songs?
Yeah.
If you could just sort of, I got the waka laka lika shaka la carlo. I got the funununa nina nuna where to go. What is going on?
Well, I don't even know. Like, I got the waka laka lika shaka da, I got the fanana nina nana where to go. It's just the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah, nice.
It
was a very cheap thing.
It means nothing. A lot of, like, sometimes when we get stuck for lyrics, we will just come up with some nonsense. Like, there's a part in Drunken Cowgirl, which is one of the crowd favorites, and like the lyric of the chorus is, she likes to ride like a drunken cowgirl. She likes to ride every single way. Anyway, in the chorus, it goes, we just could not think of what to write. And then so we just thought, we'll just write something that kind of makes sense and people can just take it however they want.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So something about going to the country and realizing that it's not for you and then coming back. That's the lyric.
Okay.
It's kind of summed up.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's
so yeah. So the waka laka stuff, but then again, it's like the song Banana Man it is sort of a nonsense song. It's about being a banana. Like, growing up, if my dad would say you're acting like a banana,
right?
Doesn't mean you're sort of acting like an idiot. So it's a song about being an idiot. I'm a banana man. Oh, I'd like that. And so it's about being an idiot.
Okay, got it.
And so I got the waka laka shika laka laka lo. Kind of being an idiot.
Yeah.
So there.
Okay,
Interesting. That's that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really
very deep.
I didn't think you would even have an answer for that.
Very deep.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you. Okay, in a lot of your songs, I noticed that it seems like you, the singer, or whoever the perspective of the song is from, is heavily infatuated with the song's subject. It's almost like a quite intense infatuation.
Yeah.
That appears as a through line throughout a lot of your songs. Has that been your experience with love?
No, not really. It might just be lazy writing.
That's the best question I've got.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, no, infatuation, no. Not for me personally.
Right.
Can't speak for my brother Dan, but for me, not so much.
Okay.
But we, our songs always have a little bit of us in them. Right, and we will put our experience, but we're also writing fiction in many cases. So I suppose a couple of examples of that would be Richter scale. So she's after Richter scale. So it's about loving or being really into a girl that is unlike other girls, and she does a lot of the things that I like as well. Like she keeps me up all night. She tells me what to do. Okay, all right. So
this is the one where she plays video games?
Yeah. She keeps me home for days playing retro video games.
Right.
I'm a big fan of retro video games, right? She's got an old brick phone. So, drinks like Robert Downey Jr. And so, yeah, so that's a song. And it's slightly, I remember meeting a girl at the time that had one of those old brick phones, and she did it, and it wasn't because she was trying to impress anyone. She just had one, right?
But you were impressed.
But I was impressed. I was like, this is cool. This is a cool thing. And so we threw that in the song. And so, sometimes so she's off the Richter scale. I think at the time of writing that song, maybe Sia and a few others they would take like just one word like chandelier or umbrella and write a song about it, right? Under my umbrella. And so we thought, what is a term that we could use that hasn't really been used for a while that we can think of, and then Richter scale. Okay, she's off the Richter scale, and then we work back from that.
Right. And
so, yeah, but the infatuation thing, yeah. Have you got any other examples of songs like that?
I can't think of the names, but there were quite a few.
Because there are, no, you're right.
Whereas you were describing the woman as, almost kind of like otherworldly. It was a very intense, crazy infatuation that maybe I was projecting.
No. It's true. No, it is true. It is true. And I guess I mean, women are nice. So they deserve to have songs like that written about them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever written something that you felt was really good but too personal and took it out?
Yeah. Look, it's this band even though we kind of, when I say we write what we want to write, there are many songs that don't make the cut, and a lot of that is because of how they'd be perceived live and how they'd go down at a live show, right? And so yes, I 100%. But then there's also some songs that are very personal that have made the cut. So there's a song called Diamonds, and it was a song written about when I was in the early days of the relationship that I had with my fiance. I was thinking, I kind of wish I had 5 lives, because, to be stuck with just the one person to me seems like crazy. But if I think about it, I've got the one life, and I'm deciding to spend it with you, and then it goes on to say, but let's never get married. And so, because at the time I didn't want to get married, but I'm going to get married with this girl that I wrote.
What changed?
I just got older. I've got a child now with her, with Donna, and it just seemed like a nice thing to do. Yeah, you just grow up, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
You said that there are some things that you guys cut because it sort of doesn't match the vibes you're going for with the show.
Yeah.
So is that more not so much a lyrical thing, but more a kind of genre?
Yeah, it's more of a genre thing more than a lyrical thing.
Right.
It is. So
you're trying not to bum the crowd out. Is that what it is?
100%.
Okay.
So that song Diamonds, for example, I think we played 2 times live.
Wow.
Yeah, because it is a slower song. It's sort of, over the years we've learned how to structure a set, and we don't put too many slow songs in there. It ebbs and flows, and then at the end it goes crazy. That's how we kind of do it.
So the priority for you guys is just to kind of max out on the fun. Is that?
Yeah, exactly. That's, I think we went through a stage where our first full-length album, after a bunch of EPs, had a bunch of these slower songs in there, and I think we tried to go a bit more pop, whatever that is, as opposed to your funk disco sort of stuff. And we just realized that it didn't sit amazingly well with our crowd, and for us at the time, it was all about trying to maximize
their enjoyment, maybe.
Their enjoyment.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, it is to maximize their enjoyment, and also our path forward was because of word of mouth. Like, we realized that we probably weren't going to get played on radio that much. Back then, Spotify wasn't really a thing, and so the only avenue for bands to get big in Australia was either through Triple J, and they weren't really playing us, or just word of mouth through playing killer shows.
Right.
And that's what, maybe we're naive, but that's what we thought the way forward was. And so, yeah, it was all about the enjoyment of the crowd. So they could tell their mates, and they'd come and become huge.
I can also imagine, if I were to imagine your crowds, I would imagine people who are there to like dance and just have...
Our crowds are the best. They really are. So, hearing us, you got to come to one of our shows.
All right, I'll come.
Yeah. Hearing us on like just, on the radio, is one thing, but then seeing it, it's a totally different experience. And we have really great fans.
Yeah.
That know our stuff. There's dance moves.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I can just imagine, you guys trying to play a ballad or something.
Yeah.
Look, why did I spend all this money on Coke?
Well, exactly. We have played ballads, but at a gig, there'll be one max, and even that is bordering on not so much a ballad. You know what I mean? So so anyway, we've got that down, but a lot of things have been cut, and I think some very, very good songs have been cut because of that.
Do you think there's room for those songs in another kind of project? Like you could release an album or something?
Yeah, it would have to be another project, but then it's just, it takes so much energy just to run this project.
Right.
Trying to do something else. And we've thought about it. I like one other thing that I've done recently is I've written a musical called The Marvelous Elephant Man, and that's doing really well at the moment as well. And some of the stuff that I've written has made its way there and to the musical theatre
Okay.
side of things. Yeah. So, but again,
But based on the actual Elephant Man?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's a comedy.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And it's yeah. So, look, I don't know. It's a tough one. If there was more time in the day, maybe we'd look at that. I don't know. We'd try and give them to up and coming singers that want a nice song. But you know, that takes energy, and it takes knowing people and making that your life.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah. So
Have you done that before? Have you given songs to other people?
no, we haven't. No, but and I know people that have, and again, that's what they do. So there are like places like Nashville, where that is what people do. They wake up at 9, they go and hang out with other songwriters, and they write songs, and those songs then get passed on to record labels and up and coming singers. But for them to make it that far, you need to be part of the clique. And so I don't know. It's sort of, yeah. Look, I might be, someone out there might be saying that I'm talking crap, and that's, you know, you can do that, but we haven't.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yes.
So you mentioned your fans, and I know you've played kind of all over the world. You've played in the US, Japan. What's been the most sort of memorable place that you've played? The most memorable gig abroad? And that can also be because it was terrible.
Yeah. There's been a few actually.
Stinkers or?
No. Most of them have been really good. Oh, the first time we went to South by Southwest was excellent.
Right.
Because the band had been together for maybe a year and a half or something, and we decided to go, and the gigs weren't huge, but it was exciting because the band was new and yeah. And then Japan, we had a couple of excellent shows as well. We've been there 3 times. And the first time was to play at this place called the Sapporo Jazz Festival. The first time was this outdoor festival, and we played in front of this soul legend called Cheryl Lynn. Ray Parker Jr., the guy that did Ghostbusters, was in her band. They were guns, like amazing. We played before them, and the people that booked it liked us so much they decided to get us back next year and gave us our own show. So it was like this huge tent with, like, it was a seated thing where you got food and dinner. And so we played in front of all these Japanese people that had never really heard us before, but knew that there was a band from Australia playing. And I just remember this old Japanese couple at the front kind of doing that. And that was memorable. That was really cool.
That's really cool, yeah.
And then when we played in Europe, we played this this festival called the Imagine a Funk Festival in Spain. And I was hyped for this one. And it looked like it was going to be packed. It was in this old bull ring on top of this hill.
Oh, wow.
Somewhere. Like, we had to drive through only olive trees for about 3 hours to get there. It was pretty special. And then when we got there, it was, the festival was, the punters were kind of 80% dudes. And it wasn't a gay festival. It was just happened to be 80% guys there.
Right.
And they didn't really get into us that much. And so we put on this show, and it was a very lackluster audience, and I was totally expecting something different. So it was memorable for that reason.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a stinker. It was still a decent show, but not as decent as we would have liked.
What do you think they were expecting?
I don't know. I really don't. So yeah.
How do you cope with that? I mean, so what do you like when you get off stage and you've had an absolute blinder? How does that feel?
Yeah.
And the opposite, when you have a gig like that, like, how long does it take you to get over, or does it not bother you at all?
I come off and I wasn't in the greatest mood, but I got over it quite quickly because I know that the band is good and that we, for whatever reason, it just didn't translate. So if it happened week after week after week, I think I'd probably consider maybe doing something else, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
We are very good. We're very, very good. In fact, one of the best, probably what we're best at, is getting people that have never heard us before really excited at a show.
I can see that.
We pride ourselves on that. And so that's why it was kind of disappointing. Maybe the sound was really bad or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Or maybe you need a high percentage of females in there for it to translate. I don't know. I don't know what it is. So maybe maybe we didn't put enough Spaniards in the Zidane song.
Could be that. Maybe they own the olive trees and you just ran over a few.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They're thinking about what they've got to do the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
day to
yeah.
fix their olive trees. Like, you know.
So yeah, but it was fun. But I mean, the setting was insane.
I can imagine.
It was amazing. So,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one of the most memorable gigs was actually playing in the little village where I was born. We did a show there in front of the 300 or 400 villagers.
And how was that?
That was awesome. They didn't.
This is in Lucca or
No.
Lucca?
This is in San Cassiano, our little village,
Which is outside of
Lucca. So outside of Lucca. So the next main town is this town called Bagni di Lucca, and then you go up a little mountain road and you get to this little village. I think there's about 300 inhabitants. Not in summer. In summer it swells a little bit because people come back, like me, and so we decided to do a show there, and there was a dance floor, and no one went on it, but they stood around kind of just watching like this, and then when we stopped, they just cheered, and it was really lovely. It was really lovely to see, and it was we were considering not doing it. I'm glad that we did.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. Of course, this being Il Globo, I was always going to ask you about the song Nonna.
Yeah.
How fun was that music video to make? Because it looks like you got the whole village involved pretty much.
It was a lot of fun, and it was just done on iPhone, and we pieced it together. We got the kids of the village involved as well, which was nice, and it was during that year that we went to play, and so it really felt the village itself just felt like that they were very excited that we were doing something like that, and just honouring it, because more people should know about it, and honouring my nonna as well. And the kids were just brilliant. It was just it was awesome.
And you go back, you said, regularly.
Yeah.
What do you love about the place?
I love the fact that it's off the beaten track. You can go there and your mind relaxes. It's stunningly beautiful. I get to see my nonna and my uncles. I get to practice my Italian, which I don't do at all over here. The food, I come back at least 5 kilograms heavier.
Worth it though?
100%. It's stunning. And whenever I've brought anyone there, they've, because you talk stuff up, and I've had this said a few times. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as you said it would be.
Right.
But it really is special.
Yeah.
Special place. It's just everything. And we're friends with the villagers as well. And we've made sure that we've become part of the fabric. So it's...
I love small Italian villages because, I don't know, maybe this is a tried thing to say, but it's true. It feels like the days are longer.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way, in a good way.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like you just got more time. I don't know.
Yeah, you do. You do. It's and if anyone's gone to Italy recently and you've gone to the big cities, it's kind of like Disneyland now.
Yeah.
It ruins. I went to, last time I was there, I went to Cinque Terre, and I've been there a few times, but this time it was just so busy.
Yeah.
It was so busy, and you've got these, the tourist walks, and it just ruins the mystery and the not in my village.
It becomes a commodity.
Exactly. So if you want the real Italy, you go to where I'm from, and you can see that. And obviously there are other places as well, but I always say to people, you go there and you'll see how it is. Yeah.
I loved that on the band's Instagram page, your brother was showing your uncle's songs, and you're just like totally honest.
Yeah. He's a legend. So he left so when he turned, both him and my dad, as soon as they turned, so back then you had to go to the army. As soon as they'd finished that, they went to hotel school, and then they went off and travelled. So my dad, he travelled, he worked on cruise ships, met my mum, then moved to Australia. My uncle went to the Adriatic coast and opened a nightclub.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so he had this nightclub called Club Tremila in a place called Lido di Savio, which is near Ravenna, or Rimini. Hang on, anyway, we're up that way. And he ran this crazy nightclub for years and years and years, and it was just wacky. He's just this wacky guy that then decided to move back in his later life to the village, and he's always doing something, putting an event here or there, and so he's a very funny dude.
Yeah,
I actually want to make a film clip with just him dancing. He's a very good dancer, very good.
Well, he was getting.
He was doing that pineapple. Yeah. He was doing that, and then the last one where he I don't know if you saw the last one where he hears our Miami song. He gets up and he does. the
No, I didn't
pineapples.
I've only seen 2. How
Yeah,
many are there?
there's 3.
Okay.
So yeah, so I just spoilt it for you. But
that's a
anyway,
shame.
yeah.
But what I loved was so the first one he wasn't keen on.
Yeah.
And then Nonna has such a kind of like old school Italian vibe, obviously, like made. It was almost made for his generation.
That's right.
And you could tell that it landed.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was very sweet.
No, he's great.
That's really cool, man. So in your song Cucinated, you sing about, at the end, you talk about how much you miss Adelaide.
Yeah.
You wish you were still there.
Yeah.
Why is that? What do you miss about Adelaide?
Well, my mum's there for one thing,
Fair enough.
and
Suck up.
yeah, and a lot of my friends are still there. But again, like a lot of things we do, the lyrics just seemed to fit. Oh, Adelaide, I should have stayed. Stayed in Adelaide kind of rhyme. Oh, Adelaide, I love you. But I do love Adelaide. And I think even, I guess, you know, my formative years were spent there. So I still consider myself Adelaidean in a sense.
Right.
Probably, yeah. You know,
I mean, you grew up there.
I grew up there. And so I was 20 when I moved here. And so, yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah, it's great. Did you see it just got Most Beautiful City in the World by Architectural Digest?
Did it?
It did. I mean...
No, look, I don't know about that. And what part of the city are they talking about? Because Harley Street.
Okay, definitely not. Presumably...
Because I know you were born in Adelaide.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Presumably whoever was taking the judges through Adelaide was like, let's just go around the street here.
Yeah,
but
it
includes everything. It includes McLaren Vale and the Barossa.
Okay,
so
okay.
it's,
All right.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Does it include Salisbury and Elizabeth? Yeah.
I don't, I feel like it was very selective.
Yeah,
in
I
what they
think
went
so
through.
too. So yeah, I do love it. I really do. I try and get back there a few times a year and do it.
I mean, look, for the most part, the city is beautiful.
Yeah.
McLaren Vale's stunning. Like,
Stunning.
Truly
and
stunning.
and the beaches there are something else, are they?
The best.
the
They
best.
are the best.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
here in Melbourne, we don't even have beaches.
no.
You know what's always funny to me is if you go to St Kilda, which I like St Kilda, it's a cool neighborhood. You go there to eat and go to shows and stuff. You shouldn't be going to the beach there.
Nah.
But when you go down to the sand, you just hear British accents.
Yeah,
Because to them, it's a nice beach.
I know, exactly,
You know?
exactly. No. I agree. Look, in Adelaide, even the city beaches are
Glenelg.
Oh, great.
West Beach.
Yeah.
Henley Beach.
amazing,
Stunning.
huh?
Yeah. World class.
World class.
Truly
So
world
yeah, no, we're very lucky there, and you know, who knows? Maybe one day I'll move back. Maybe one day I'll do like my uncle did and move back to the village. I will move back to Adelaide.
That's a perfect end to this interview.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Thank you.
Did you enjoy that? Well, then why not subscribe? What's wrong with you? This is why people are worried about you, the choices you make. Click the little subscribe button and make people proud.